What's up guys, my name is Alan and welcome to my channel Alan Architecture. So in this episode or in this video we are going to take off quickly by modeling in our roofs. We are going to work on our roof and our ceiling in this episode. So we are not going to waste much time on this. So without much ado, let's get straight into the video. Alright, let me just hit the architecture tab, hit the escape key a couple of times. Now before we start modeling in our roof, all right, our ceiling, before we get to the roof, let's go into our ground floor plan. Let's see what we have in here. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so we are going to start off with our ceiling. All right, so we, to model your ceiling, you can equally model your ceiling in the ground floor plan view, in the floor plan views, right? You can equally model your ceiling here, or you can also model your ceiling up in the ceiling plans. You can go into the ceiling plan views and then you can model up your ceilings over there. All right, so it's quite advisable. You can actually do it anywhere, but I'm going to do the right thing. So I'm going to go into the ceiling plan view in the ground floor plan. Beautiful. So I'm in the ceiling plan view for the ground floor plan. Now I'm going to go into my architecture tab. Make sure you're in the architecture tab. Just go calm down a little bit. Now look for ceilings. It's just right after roof. All right, that's what we'll be doing today. Ceiling, then we move to the roof quickly. So we're going to go into ceiling. Now, when you click on the ceiling, Revit has these two commands. Now I want you guys to pay attention to these two commands. One is an automatic ceiling and one is a sketch ceiling. All right, the automatic ceiling means it means that when you move your mouse pointer into your drawing, into your view, you see Revit has this highlighted red lines over there, which means that it's going to automatically place ceilings in that view, in that red line view. All right, it's going to fix your ceiling in that space automatically, so you don't have to now draw it like how we used to draw the walls, how we used to draw the floor slabs. You won't draw the ceiling like that when on automatic ceiling. You just move your mouse pointer in the space, then you click. When you click, it automatically creates the ceiling for that space. Quite simple and very easy. All right, this is our washroom. Very easy. So in this space, you notice we have a staircase here and we have like a void in this space. So I wouldn't want my ceiling covering my staircase and the void. Without without going through the trouble, I think I'll have to sketch in this view. So I'm just going to hit on my sketch tab. Then you can pick a line. You can pick a line or you can draw a line to whatever you prefer. But I'm going to pick a line because I want it very fast. So I'm going to click right here, right here, right here, and right here. I wouldn't want to create a ceiling in my washroom. Alright, I'm not going to create a ceiling there. We hit here, and then we hit in this space, and then we hit in this space. Then we trim and extend. What we are doing now is trim and extend. We are just trim and extending the edges. Alright. Okay, why not? Let me just create a ceiling. Let me just create a ceiling in my washroom space so you guys can have a look at it. So now we've done our ceilings. Now before you hit on this finish button, move into the properties panel. Just check which type of ceiling. Revit automatically has three ceiling types. We have the 600 by 1200 grid, or you have the plain one with no grids in there. We have the plain ceiling. All right, you can equally model your ceiling. Some people would like to model those POP ceilings in their building. All right, this is a beginner's tutorial. We'll treat the modeling of those POP ceilings in the full video, and we are going to post it online, so you guys are going to have a look at it and be able to learn how you can come about with those POP ceilings with some sort of like a recessed ceiling coming down with a chandelier. We are going to study on that. This is a beginner's tutorial, so we are not going to waste much time. Everything is just going to be simple for you to understand the basics. All right, so we have the compound ceiling. So these are types of ceilings you can select. All right, it depends on the design, on what you want. Maybe you want 600 by 600 mm with grids. Yes, that's what you want, or you want a generic ceiling. So I'm going to just take the plane. Now before you hit on the finish again, still in the properties panel, you'd have to check your height offset. So this is going to be our height offset from the ground floor. It's going to be 2600. Nope. Let me just go into one of my elevation views. Let me see what I have. Let me measure what I have from here to here. I have 3200. All right. Let me go back into my ground floor plan. Ground floor plan. Are you back in there? I'm going to change this to 3000. All right. Perimeters. Yes. And then dimensions, identity data. We don't need that. Phasing, new construction. So now we're going to hit on our check to finish that ceiling right there. And our ceiling is created. All right. It's created in there. You can see a blue highlighted line in there. Let me change it to a gray so that you guys can see. Now you can notice that there's a grid ceiling in there. Let me just click on the space. You can notice that the ceiling is created in there. All right. So now let's go into the ground floor plan. I would like to create a ceiling for these spaces as well. Now with these two spaces, that is what I'm going to use, the automatic ceiling. So I'm going to go back into the ceiling. Still, let me just use the grid, and then I'm going to take automatic. All right. I've already created a ceiling here. So I just click, and then it creates. I just click and it creates. Now don't pay attention to this warning signs right here. Don't pay attention to it. It's just creating the width. It's creating the ceilings in that space. All right. You can see we have those ceilings in that space as well. They are also created in that space. All right. Let me go into the perspective view. Let me enter. Let me enter into that space. All right. Now you can see right on top over there, we have our ceiling created in there. All right. 3 meters from the level. All right. So this is what we have for perspective view. I'm going to change that, bring it back to orthographic. All right. Yes. So we're going to create a ceiling for our first floor as well. We're going to create a ceiling for our first floor as well. Okay. So the same procedure, architecture. Then you have to move into your ceiling, go to automatic ceiling. Then we will create the ceilings right there. Very easy. Very easy. You just have to click on the space and then it creates the ceiling. All right. So let's go into our 3D view. Let's see what we have in there. You see, we have our ceilings created in there. All right. So now we are going to model up our roof. We are going to model up our roof. We are not going to waste much time. Let's go into the roof plan. To model your roof, you have to go into the roof level. All right. You can check it. You can see it on my east elevation. I have it right there, the roof level. So I'm going to go into the roof level and I'm going to model my roof. Now the roof I'm going to be doing is not going to be a gable roof where you're going to see all those pellets and rafters all over the place. It's going to be a parapet roof, a secret roof. So this is how I'm going to be doing. I'm going to come about with a secret roof. I want you guys to pay with rapt attention to this section or this part of the video. Now I'm going to start by creating a floor slab on the entire roof. All right, a floor slab of 150 mm, and I'm going to lift that floor slab up above 150. So I'm going to create that floor slab on the floor right there. 150 mm is created, and I'm going to create a space. I'm going to create a space. I'm going to leave about 1000 mm, and I'm going to create a space in there I'm going to create like a void in between that slab right there. I'm going to create like a void over there in that space. I'm going to create a void over there. So I'm going to hit the escape key now. I'm going to finish, don't attach, and then go. Let's head into our 3D view. Let's see what we have. Beautiful. So we have our floor slab created in there. We are going to be creating our parapet roof. Our parapet roof. Now before we do that, let's go back into any of the elevation views, alright? Now in creating a parapet roof, you would have to get a wall, alright? You would have to get a wall going up on the roof level about 450 mm, going high above. In case there should be rainfall, it wouldn't slip under the roof and enter into the space we have in there. So we have to lift up a wall, alright? So to lift up that wall, we need to create a level where we can make all those walls hit up. So go into the architecture tab, and then you go into your datum area, alright? On the panel above, you're going to see your level. The shortcut is LL, or you can come in here and then you just select anyone, and then you hit a shortcut key called create similar, CS, and then it's going to create a similar. So we are going to raise it about 450. We'll rename that later. So we are going to check it. We are going to make this about 450 mm. Alright, we are going to place a wall. So we are going to go into our roof level where we can create a wall to touch that roof level. Alright, so now we are in a roof level where we are going to create a wall to hit the new level we just created, the level 6. It's not going to go up above to the topmost roof level. I hope you guys get me. So I'm going to be creating that wall. It's going up to level 6. Make sure it's checked. Make sure you check. It shouldn't go up above onto the roof level. So we have this created in there. Now you can see our wall is lifted up above 450 mm, touching onto level 6. Alright, so now we are going to go into our level 6 instead now. Now we are not going to waste much time. We are going to go into the level 6. Our level 6. Let me see what we have in there. Yes. So we are now in our level 6. Let me go into my underlay. Let me check this. Let me make my underlay show up to the roof, show below the roof level. Alright, so now we are going to the level 6. We are going to create our roof. So all you have to do is go into the architecture tab, and then you move all the way to roof. When you move to roof, you're going to have this. Revit has some roof installed. We have a wall roof. Revit always has some families installed in every section, alright? It has some installed by default, but some you wouldn't get in. Some of these items I wouldn't get in maybe a later version, or maybe in the current version, alright? I don't know why. I used to use the 2018. We didn't have all this. It only had a generic roof, right? And it wasn't even green. It wasn't even in this green color. So we are going to start modeling up a roof. Let's just use a generic roof. This is a beginner's tutorial. We'll explain everything in subsequent videos. So let's just take a roof, a generic 400 mm field. We can still manipulate it. Let's just use that. Now before we do anything, guys, we have to duplicate. So we're going to duplicate this. Let's just call this roof 1. All right, and then we're going to change the width. Let's change the width to about 200. All right, you can specify material if you want. We are not going to do any of that. This is a beginner's tutorial, so we just go into OK, and then you start drawing. Now before you draw, you have the overhang here. You can uncheck the define slopes. Now I'm going to explain this. All right, so you can uncheck this defined slopes, which means that the roof you're going to be creating is not going to be sloped. It's all going to be on a plane. It's going to be like a flat roof. It's just going to be plain, all right, when you uncheck that defined slope. But when you keep it checked, it's going to be sloped. All right, Revit is automatically going to slope it to an angle, and that angle is always by default in Revit 30 degrees. You can check it out yourself. So we have our overhang here. We want our roof to extend from the wall. We want it to extend, let's say maybe 600 standard. We want it to extend about 600. So we are going to make it about 600. We are going to make this 600, and then we are going to pick our roof, and then we are going to start drawing. All right. Now, make sure after selecting selecting the rectangle shape that you want to draw, make sure you check the offset again. It's going to like change it. So we are going to make this 600. All right. So now you notice it's creating the overhang of 600. Beautiful. So now when we click on this side, you see we have this angle to be 30 degrees. We can change it 20 degrees to whatever degrees you want your roof to slope. Maybe you want your roof to be very steep. All right. Some people make it 35. When you have a roof of 40 degrees, it's no longer a roof, it's a ladder. So you can equally change the angles over here. You can equally also select, you can just select this side as well, and then you check undefined slope for it. So that means this part of the roof is not going to be sloping, so it's going to slope all the way to the top over here. That's also another design if you want, but I want everything to slope. I want it to be like a gable roof. So now I'm going to hit the check button, and then there we go. We have our roof created in there. But I'm going to change my slope angle. I'm going to make it 15 degrees. All right. So now I'm going to go into the 3D view, and yes guys, you guys can see we have our roof created in that space over there. We have our roof created in that space, right? So we can see. So now we're going to create